Hmm.
Guys, welcome back. I have an awesome, lovely voice because I've been sick and so my voice is awesome. But okay, we kind of hashed some of these out before. So we're teensy bit prepared. We're gonna do kind of what we've been doing in the past is just kind of like doing the blind topic pick. So like Delancey doesn't know. I like it when we do it on each other. It's actually really fun. So we have a couple topics that we want to talk about. So I thought we would do this, and then the next time we'll do the next one. So Delancey, this is
Hmm.
from our perspective, like me and her as
Hmm.
adoptees. What do we think are some like the top five benefits of adoption? We could probably go into way more of it, but like what would you say are your top five of adoption?
Dude, every time you do something like that, like I think I know what direction you're going in, and I think I know what topic you're going with, and then like you veer left and you go the completely opposite direction of what I thought. Totally not what I thought you were gonna do because the way you said it from our perspective, I was like, okay, mentally prepare. Got it. And then you said top five, and it's like,
Marina.
God. Um, do I have to list like all five at one time?
No.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna write them down so I can keep track of them.
Okay,
Top
perfect.
five. Top five things about adoption that make them awesome, or what was it? That reason why they're
Top
great.
five
What
benefits. Like, what do you
benefits?
think are like
Okay.
the top five benefits of adoption?
I swear, I just like rewrite stuff sometimes in my brain. Like I know you said that, and I'm like, no, I heard this. Let's see. Number five.
This is kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie,
This
as I'm
is
sitting here
hard.
thinking, like I've got one written down.
Let's see. Top five benefits of adoption. Started with number five, and I keep repeating myself, hoping that I can like
How about you do
articulate
one
it.
and then I'll do one. So that way we have more time to think. Does that make sense? Like you think of one and
Yes.
then hash it and then I'll do one.
Okay.
If
That's
you've
not
got
helping
one.
me find the one.
Do you want
What's yours?
do you want me? What's yours?
What's yours?
My My biggest one I think about like it because people are such naysayers about it is you can love anybody as long as you have an open heart. It doesn't matter if they're biologically yours or they come from
Hmm.
adoption. I think the amount of love, and I know this is where it's hard because there's going to be so many people that can combat it. Like, well, I got into a shitty, my adoption. And I understand that. That's what I'm saying. Like, for me, though, is the love that so many people can love you and it doesn't matter. Like for me, I know our extended families are a little different. With me, my extended family, holy
Hmm.
cow, like they've all embraced me. It's you know what I mean? Like it I don't
Hmm.
have to look like them. And they all have like same features because siblings and what are not, parents are,
Right.
but it's like just the love that people have for you. And you're adopted into this family, but they don't give a shit. You're family, so they love you. It's kind of like when you get older and you find friends that become family. Like just that love that comes with it, I think is my favorite thing ever. And you don't have to be blood related.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Can I steal that and say that's mine too?
No, you
It's a great
shouldn't.
answer. Ah. Okay. Well, what it's actually something that you said because you mentioned that our extended families are different because they are different. Nothing against my extended family. I'm just not close with them. I'm just not, like it is what it is. And that's not a
No,
good
yeah.
or bad thing. It just, just every family's different. I think what you said that I think one of the top five, number five benefit of adoption for me and my, like, from my perspective is the character development and growth development of every person involved that happens. Like, as long as, because when you're saying it, as you were saying, like, as long as your heart's open,
Ooh.
as long as your heart is open, you can grow so much and develop so much as a person
I love
and your
that.
relationships with each other and your relationships with the child and your relationships with God, like that can develop so much by adopting, when you really think about it, because you're inviting an like, this is going to sound really tacky, and I really don't mean for it to sound tacky, but it's like you're inviting an unknown, but you're open to all the possibilities of it.
Ooh, that's a good quote. I love that because I know exactly what you're saying. I love that.
Like this, like, you know what I mean? Like you're looking at it,
100%.
like you're looking at this like unknown, you're like, that's okay. I'm excited. Let's do this and let's see what happens.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you're willing to grow and to develop and to teach and to learn. And like, sometimes the teachers become the students. Sometimes, parents learn from their kids and aunts learn from the
Yes.
nieces and nephews or uncles and vice. Like everybody learns
Yes.
from everybody.
Yeah.
I think that would definitely be the number 5 for me.
Ooh, I love that. That was a good one. See, this is good because if we keep talking, then the crap just keeps bouncing. Ooh, that
Well,
I
now
really
I was
like
gonna
that
say
a
now we got
lot.
to come up with 4 more.
I know.
That I feel
We
like
should
that's
just come up
with
with 3 more. We need a
right.
total of 5.
It's like we
Okay,
came up with 5 together.
let me see. Oh, God. See, I was so into yours that I wasn't thinking for a new one for me.
Sorry.
No, it was good. Yours was good. Um, I kind of have, okay, I'm going to kind of bounce off of yours. And I know some
Hmm.
people might get like an ick factor from this, but I don't really give a
Ooh.
shit. Like, I just don't.
Uh-huh.
And I think mine comes more from because of the letter that I have from my birth mom. And so I know for me, for my story, I can't speak for
Mhm.
any other adoptee. Financial and like the tools to give me physically, financially, and spiritually like a better upbringing. And I think that
Yes,
can be one
get
of the
it.
greatest things about adoption because spiritually, my parents, they raised me with a belief in God. Um,
Hmm.
physically, I don't know if I've talked about, I think I did when I shared my Columbia episode. I can't believe I felt like a giant around them. And a lot of them talked about like nutrition wise. They think it's
Hmm.
because the nutrition here. I think I told Delancey that, I think off the air. Um, but nutrition wise, and then mentally, mentally, Delancey knows that's why she's looking like that. But mentally, like
I'm not saying anything. Keep going.
but
You can
mentally,
do it.
and I think mentally, okay, so mentally, it kind of can be a caveat because depending on who you are, where you are, you can be in the poorest situation ever and you can have the best
Hmm.
mental outlook on life. You know what I mean? Like, just really, you can. You can
Yeah.
take everything that you have and have such a good outlook on life, Because, like, some of the most humble, amazing people I've ever met, they have nothing. They have like the little, and they're just grateful for everything that they have. So, but
Yeah.
mentally, more like, I don't know. And it goes back to like, I grew up with a mom and dad. You know what I mean? And I know there's still some adoptees who get in families where their parents get divorced and they're single parents, but they still have that dad in their life. Where for me, and like I said, this is my story, so I can't speak for Delancey or other adoptees. I was able to grow up with a mom and dad. So for me, I feel like it was all encompassed with like the physical, spiritual, mental,
Right.
financial, because it's true, because, and then I'm not going to lie too. I'm very grateful that I, live in the US of A financially, even now that I'm a grown adult. So, okay, that
Hmm.
got long and rambly, but you know what I mean?
No, that's great when because when you're saying it, I mean, it's the truth. I mean, that's the same for me too. It's like growing up because I mean, my bio dad passed in '86. I wouldn't have had a biological dad. I would have had zero
Right.
memory of him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, same thing. Like I would have grown up without a biological dad. Like I would have
Yeah.
grown up and me growing up in the situation I did. So I mean, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Um,
If you kind of think, then you can kind of bounce off of it. That's what I did from yours.
well, like yours was financial, spiritual, mental,
That's and like physical, kind of all
and
those kind of
physical.
things. Yeah.
Um, like a part of me wants to be like same, but like I can't be same because like it is same, but not. Yeah, people are gonna be listening to this episode and going like, Did Delancey just glitch? Yes. Yes, I did. And my brain just glitched. Thank you. I appreciate that. I would say oh God, this is gonna come out so weird and so ick, and this is probably gonna give some people the ick, but I'm okay with that. So we're just gonna roll the dice and see.
We keep
For
it
my
real,
story, think one of the benefits, yeah, right. I think one of the benefits is that nurture overcame nature.
Ooh, but I like that because for your story, it's true and you're valid. And people that have an ick factor with it, that's on them. For
I mean,
real.
it's yeah, it's one of those things like I don't have to, you know what I mean? It's didn't even say anything to be like, you know what I mean? Mhm. It's one of those things where like it's I I shared it in my update and I've shared it in other things where it's like I'm genetically predisposed and biologically predisposed to certain things, but I'm so thankful that I was taught how to figure out those things.
Yeah.
And, that my nurture is to, volunteer for everything to, which is kind of a problem, but, I volunteer before I even realize what I'm doing. But I'm
Yeah.
figuring that out. But like, servant's heart, do for others, stick up for others, stand up for what's right, even if you're standing alone, always, try to do the right thing by God. Even though if I didn't always follow that exactly, I still was taught that. And I look at it and I'm very thankful that my nurture did so strongly impact me that nature is a very minimal part of who I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's, I mean, and that's for my story. Again, I'm not telling anybody else what your story is like. I'm not telling you that biology is awful. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying for me and
Yeah.
who I am as a human being, it's definitely better on the nurture side than it would have been if it was on the nature side.
And
So,
no,
top five benefit, yeah.
I think it's beautiful because people need to hear that stories are so different. And that's the thing is like we will say that probably until we both die. You cannot use blanket
Mm-hmm.
statements. And you heard Delancey say
Mm-mm.
that clear as day. For me, this is how it is for
Mm-hmm.
me. It wasn't all adoptees. It's not like
Mm-mm.
that because we know better than that. We
Mm-hmm.
know
And
better than that.
man, and it's so funny because the people that make blanket statements, this actually happened the other day, and I'm not going to go into it, but the ones that make blanket statements, you're like, hey, I just really don't think it's really helpful to make blanket statements. And they're like, I'm not trying to get preached at. And it's like, whoa, excuse me, your insecurities are showing.
It's
Like,
true. No.
yeah, it's Melena's right. It's not, we will never, I don't think we've ever made a blanket statement. And if we've had, we've corrected ourselves immediately because it's not, no two adoptees are the same.
No. And we try to say that too when we explain everything. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's my favorite thing about like me and Delancey is our stories are so drastically different with family
Mm-hmm.
dynamics on the adoptive
So
side,
weird.
on the
Yeah.
biological side, but we don't have hate in our hearts. We don't have,
Mm-mm.
well, you should be ungrateful or yeah, that you or like that you were placed for adopted. You know what I mean? This
That was your glitch.
the stuff that people spout when some like
Yeah.
there's a rough patch in adoption stories. It's like,
Right.
people can come at me and her for different parts of our stories because they're like, well, you're not thinking this way. And it's like, there's no one right or way to think. Like, what was
Right.
it that Brennan said that like
I got
no
you.
adopt
Hold on.
what
Side
yes,
pocket.
what was it the adoptee
There's
quote said?
no, would you calm down? I'm just moving my paper. I put no, he said, no right or wrong way to be an adoptee.
Yes, that's like my new favorite thing. Seriously, I think
Mm-hmm.
that's money. That is money because it's so true and applies to every single adoptee, even the ones that have all that hurt. My biggest thing with
Mm-hmm.
that, and yeah, you hear me and Delancey get so frustrated and annoyed with them, but at the end of the day, we do have hearts and we do have an ounce of we hope these people get better. We hope these
Mm-hmm.
people can find why they
Yeah.
have so much anger and hate in their heart and to figure it out. It also
Yeah.
frustrates us because we know if you're truly Christ-like, you ain't doing that kind of shit. That's just,
That part.
you know what I mean? You're just not.
That part.
You're not trying to be
It's well,
negative and bring
it's
people down.
you're not trying to, and you're not trying to, God, they said, Kyle said this, one of our pastors said this Sunday in church. And I mean, the sermon was money. I need to send it to you whenever it hits
Yeah.
on demand. I mean, it
Yeah.
was
Please
money.
do.
It was so fire. But I mean, he was basically saying, you know, your job as a Christian, when you are trying to share the gospel and share with somebody who is trying to disprove you, it's not your job to judge the other side. It's
Right.
your job to have
Amen.
compassion for them and to try to show
Yes.
them. And that's all Melena and I try to do. That's all we try to do is yes, we get frustrated and yes, it's annoying. And yeah, but I mean, like, I feel like that's a basic human reaction to
Right.
have that. But we
Yeah.
also don't tell them they're wrong. We do think it's
Right.
annoying. We do think it's frustrating, especially whenever if feelings are valid, but when they're performative, that's when it's a problem.
Yes,
When you're
exactly.
doing it for likes and you're doing it for clicks and you're doing it
Right.
for gifts or whatever it is that these influencers are trying to do,
Right. Right. Right.
that's when I have a serious problem with it because you're being
Agreed.
disingenuous. But you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
No, and it doesn't, and it's, I like that you said influencers because that comes like even just regular influencers who want to sell X, Y, and Z on their pages. And it's not even
Mhm.
adoption related. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. They
Yeah.
do it for the clicks, they do it for the likes, and they don't even have to be in the adoption community.
She's jumping around too much. I had to pick her up.
She's like, yes, please snuggle me. I love this so much right now. Oh, look at that. She's just like,
She's a little
what's up,
football.
girl? Hey, girl. Hey.
She's over here like, what's happening?
Oh, she's so freaking cute.
She's a little teddy
Anyway,
bear. Okay.
no,
So number three.
that was number three.
No, we're now on number three. Because if we're each doing one,
Oh, I was like, that was number
mm,
four.
yeah, now we're on number three.
Okay, let me think. Mm. I do like once we get these though, where our conversations are going. They're like
Mhm.
it's turned out really. Let's see. Another, what ones did I say? Okay, that one and that one. Okay, this one's just personally for me. I don't know if Delancey can relate because she doesn't even know what I'm gonna say. So we'll see if she does or not. But for me, I feel for me, one of the top benefits of being adopted is because I feel as a person, I have been able to grow and develop in ways I don't think I would have if I was still in Columbia. And it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying, oh, if I was there, it'd be like, no, that's not what I'm saying, is what it comes to. So it kind of encompasses this too. God, and I've been told this a lot, especially by my mother. She's like, God has a plan for you. God has a purpose for you. I don't know what it is, but God. And so
Mhm.
being told that a lot, that is one thing that my mom was like bomb at, is telling me that. It really made me want to do something to be better. And I don't think I would have developed into the human that I was and continuing to develop because it doesn't stop.
Mm-mm.
Like, really, if I wasn't placed for adoption. So that's something I'm eternally grateful for.
It's hard to follow
What are
because
your
I mean, it's
thoughts on
true.
that, though?
It's
Okay, yeah.
it's true though. I know I'm gonna agree with you on that because I don't think I would have ever I would have never developed I wouldn't be who I am, period, at all. But I don't think I would have ever been able to overcome some people may not like how I'm about to say this, but how be able to overcome my inner demons
Ooh, no,
the
no,
way that I
that's all good.
have
Yeah,
without having
yeah.
adoption in my corner. You
You
know,
would
like it
not
just
be the
mm-mm.
badass boss sports lady that you are. And I totally admire that.
You
Seriously.
know, it's I mean, and it's the thing. It's like neither one of us would have. I don't think either one of us would have the strength that we have to
Oh,
do the things that
oh,
we need to do daily if we did not have adoption in our corner. And not saying that we wouldn't have been strong women had we not been adopted.
yeah. No, no.
Maybe
Agreed.
not who we are.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But then again,
yeah.
playing the what if game's also kind of dangerous. But I think
Agreed.
oh, I think
Ugh.
I can't speak for you on this, but I do know that just with things that I've seen, I'm pretty positive
Yeah.
that I would
Yeah.
have I would have struggled for a lot longer
Yeah.
or just continuously instead of
Yeah.
figuring it out.
And I think I've said this before. I think I would have struggled in other ways where I don't think
Mhm.
I honestly think I would have had kids out of wedlock, which whatever. And I don't know that my life would be as stable as it is now. I will say that
Mhm.
because
Oh,
of
mine
things I've
wouldn't
seen.
have.
My biological family, they're great, amazing humans, and they fight tooth and nail for their families. But like stability and stuff, you can tell is, and
Mhm.
it comes with any single parent. I'm not just like,
Right.
ousting them. It comes with any single parent or any hard situation that you're in. But like I said, I'm very grateful for where I'm at. So yeah,
Right.
I like that. Okay, are we on number 4? Or did you go? Or were you just talking about what
No,
I talked about?
I was just agreeing with
Oh,
you.
you
I was
should have
kind
just let
of
that
hoping that
slide. You should have been like,
right when I said no, I was agreeing with you. I was sitting the little Delancey in my head was like, shut up. God, quit making things like difficult on yourself.
"Hmm."
Um, I think mine would be my work ethic. Having the work ethic that she went to grab.
I know that's why I was
Having
because you heard it in the microphone. Stop it.
stop it. And she's like, fine. Um, I think having the work ethic that I have and being such like a little worker bee, but also on the flip of that being such a social butterfly that I like wanting to work, wanting to help, wanting to be there, wanting to build relationships,
Right.
the want
Yeah.
behind all of that and to do all of that is there. So I would think for me, my number 3 would be my work ethic and servant's heart are definitely a benefit
Where's
of
dad?
adoption.
Oh, go talk to dad. Go talk to
He's a
dad.
little person.
Go tell dad you're hungry. Dad doesn't know you're in here, and I know he'd be like, "Get out. Go tell dad you're hungry." Okay, handsome. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Love you. Bye. Bye. He's
I
like,
expect to see
what am I having for dinner? I'm like, dude, we fed you. Go get dad.
kids, man. They're like a bottomless pit.
No, but one thing about Delancey that I've noticed, I mean, I've never met her in person, but I can see through her social media, I can see in interactions that we have, and even on here, her work ethic is amazing. She takes it very seriously. She's very good at her job. Like she just really is. No, you really are. And the
Try
type
to
of
be.
personality that you have, like it's so fun to watch. Like she did this special thing for somebody and just she sent me the video of it and like I could just see the joy out of her. Like she's somebody that I don't know. It just was so fun to watch. And I showed Mia and she's like, Mom, and I'm like, just in there. And she's like, like, you know what I mean? Like, um, so for me, I can see that a lot about Delancey. And I just think it's so awesome. And like that's the thing. I love how different it is, like with everybody in your adoption story. But that's one thing I definitely notice about Delancey with her work ethic. So I think it's awesome.
I definitely appreciate that because I know
Mm.
it was definitely shown to me to have that type of work ethic and to not just like have the work ethic, but like to have the joy behind it too. Like
Yes, yes.
even if it's just a job, like no matter what job I had, it's like trying to make the best of it and find the joy and
I love that.
it's yeah.
I love that. No, I love that so much. Okay, what are we on? What number are we
We're
on?
on 2 because we're going backwards. We're on five,
Okay.
4, 3. Now we're on 2.
2. Ooh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's getting harder now,
okay.
as if it was ever
This
easy.
this one is it's just cheesy, but it's like one of my top of like with having met my bio family and people thinking like, well, now, or do you regret that you were never with them? It'll always revert back to this. If I was never placed for adoption, I would not have my husband and I would not have my
Mhm.
kids. Like they are everything to me. And as I'm getting older, I'm realizing yes, I have my adoptive family, and, some bumpy relationships there, but I also have some great ones with some of my siblings. Which I am actually going to share this really quick because I shared it. I shared it with Delancey behind the scenes, but I am going to share this because I shared on the podcast. I talked to most of my siblings about how I felt with that whole interaction with Columbia, and they're all really, well, most of them are heartbroken that that's how I interpreted it. So I was grateful that I'm a human and a human. I'm grateful that I'm an adult and can have adult conversations. And it was really healthy. So I told Delancey that behind the scenes, but I know I talked about it on here. Anyway, but what I'm saying is the older I'm getting, I'm realizing I do have great relationships with my birth family. I do have great relationships with my adoptive family. But when it comes to it, the most important people in my life are my husband and my kids. And if I was never placed for adoption, I wouldn't have any of that. Like, I might have a different baby daddy, multiple baby daddies, different kids. But because I was placed for adoption, I found this amazing man who we both have a belief in God. And Heavenly Father knew I needed him. Like, he is so freaking patient. He is, I know I annoy the hell out of him sometimes, but you know what I mean? Like, but he just is so, he's just so good. God knew I needed him. He keeps me grounded. I'm like the crazy wild one, and he is just so chill and go with the flow. And then my kids, each one of my kids, like just their gifts that they have and the personalities that they have and the people that they are. So yeah, that's probably one of my topper ones. My second one for that is my family, because without being placed for adoption, I wouldn't have my family. So yeah.
I love that. And if any of you follow Milena on any of her socials, you will see how sweet her family is. How just like absolutely like I love the family photos. I love everything that y'all post. It's just I mean, you have such a sweet family and such a cute family, and like you and your husband are just precious.
Thank
And
you.
yes, he is definitely the more I don't want to say like serious, but like the more grounded one out of the two of y'all.
Definitely is.
Respectfully.
If you
Definitely the
watched
more
my
grounded
trip to
one.
Colombia, that's the most you've seen my husband on my social media, and you saw how
Yeah.
calm he was.
Yeah. Like totally like chill, calm, has like he has a game
Yes.
plan, like he's good to go. And Melena's like fly by the seat of her pants, kind of like not completely, but like enough of a free spirit that it balances. And it's great. It's
Yes.
fantastic to watch.
So yeah.
I actually am going to kind of piggyback off of that because
No,
this
I
is going to
love
be
that.
something very surprising. I think for some people to hear me say that that know me or have known me or whatever. Um, I think one of the top five benefits is that I have not been married or have kids for the
Ooh,
simple
I love
fact
that.
of it's not for the lack of asking.
Right, 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 right.
It was the fact that I had a family that they like to joke with me and things like that about me still being single and everything. And I know they like to joke with me about the fact like I'm not a mom or whatever. But what they don't realize is that each time that I could have been married, each time I was in a serious relationship, they were there to help me see through the rose colored glasses, or they would
Yeah.
wait patiently and they would sit back and they were the ones that were like,
Yeah.
yeah, this isn't good for you. Like, you need to stop that. Like, we do not like this. Like, and yes, sometimes I didn't listen. Sometimes I was stubborn, but I never went through with it because in the back of my head, I always knew this isn't right. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't
Yeah.
marry the ones that I asked. I didn't even say yes to that makes me sound like such a weirdo. Like,
No,
I don't
no.
want to say majority, but like, there weren't a million of them or anything. I'm not saying that, but there were opportunities in which I could have been married there, but those would have resulted in divorce. And I'm so thankful that I have the family that I have and that adoption brought me to where I am for the simple fact of it was reinforced into me of you do not have to have a husband to have value. You do not have to have, children to have value. You have value in yourself. You have value who you are. And I
Love
just
that.
don't know that I would have had that had I
Mhm.
not been adopted into the family that I was adopted into. I don't think I would have had the backing, but like the backing that I do,
Yeah.
the support that I do for them. Like, they've picked me up so many times and,
Right.
shout out to my fam, love y'all. Like, sorry, sorry for all those times. But at the same time, it was, they may yap at me a little bit here and there, and whenever I screwed up, but they always supported me. They always helped me. They've always backed me. And I don't think, if I had not been adopted, I probably would have been married and divorced, of probably multiple times, not knowing, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm very thankful that I was able to, I don't want to say avoid it,
Right.
but
Right. Right.
avoid the
Yeah.
wrong ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
We're going to say that.
No, I love that. I love that. And I love that you brought that up because that's like a completely opposite spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the thing. Every story is different. And look, we both can find so much gratitude and be grateful for different things in our stories. Our stories don't have to match up in a line to be the same. Like, I love that. I
Mm-hmm.
love that you brought that up.
Well, and it's so fantastic that they are opposite and they work for us, because it's
Yes.
okay. It's okay to not have the same story. You don't have to be the same as everybody else. Like,
Yes.
Lord,
How boring would that be? Ooh, that would be
right?
boring. That'd be so boring for
Yeah.
girls. Oh,
Right. Agreed.
are we finally down to number one? I'm proud of
We're
us though.
finally
Look
down to
at
number
this.
one.
We've done it. Number one.
Yes.
Ooh. I feel like this is the same kind of thing. Okay, I'm gonna say it. It might be the same kind of thing. For
Mm-hmm.
me, no, I feel like it's the same kind of. Well, no, it's a little bit different. Okay, so earlier I said like the person that I've grown into,
Mm-hmm.
but I think one of the biggest things. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna say this is my number one. You'll have to tell me if you think it's the same thing. The opportunities that I've been presented with, like because I'm adopted. Is that different from what I said earlier, or is that the same?
Kind of
Okay.
same. You're just using a different word.
Okay, fine.
I mean, I could let you slide on it, but I feel like our listeners are going to be like, Milena.
It's the same thing.
Is it?
Ooh, I don't
I mean,
know. It's
it's a
so
good one
hard.
though. It is a good one.
It's so hard. Let's see. What are other ones? Oh, I'm trying to think.
And I say I
Okay.
have my number one. I've been holding on
Okay.
to it. Like, I've
You
been
go.
trying not to
You
say
do
it
it.
until just now.
Okay, go. You go. And then
Top five, number one benefit of being adopted, from my perspective, from my story, my relationship with God. Period. End of story. Period.
can I say that one is number one too?
Yes, you can. We can share this one for sure.
Because no, I don't know why I didn't even think of that because it's so true. Without God knowing that this was his plan for both of us, we would not be where
Mm-hmm.
we are today. Amen. Look
Mm-hmm.
at that, Delancey. Good job.
I was about to say, it's one of those things where you don't even really have to like expand on it. It's one of those, like, number one benefit of my
Yeah.
adoption story, my relationship with God. Done. Mic drop.
And
But I'm
I
not going to drop it
actually
because it's right here. So it's crazy.
I actually really love that you brought that up because and I can't speak for like the adoptees who are, but you can notice when people have a good relationship with God
Mm-hmm.
versus people that don't have a good relationship with God. And me and Delancey have worked on our relationships with God. They've been up and down. They haven't always been like woo where they are at now. We've had to work for that. We still continue to work for that. It's not something that it's just like one and done. But I
Absolutely.
like how you pointed that out because you can find any kind of adoption story that you want. You really can. You go on the internet and you can find the darkest, nastiest,
Yes.
whatever ones you want, or you can find ones that are more like ours where we choose joy and we like to be happy and
Mm-hmm.
have it uplifting. But if you look at people, and it's not just with adoption, if you look at people in general with everything that they're doing, you can spot who is trying really hard to have some type of faith some type of
Mm-hmm.
belief to whether it's a higher power or God versus people who don't want anything to do with that. You can see that in people. At least for me, I can see
Mm-hmm.
that in people. I don't know about you, but I can.
No, 100% can, because you can always, there's something about people that have a like a relationship with God, or like have a journey, like a spiritual journey in some form of way. I lean more towards a relationship with God, because I know, like, I just feel like whenever you have something to believe in and something to guide your moral compass, you're more apt to stay on track. You're more
Love
apt to
that.
do the right thing. You're more apt to
Yes.
try to be kind to others. Like, you can have a bad day,
Yes.
just like everybody has a bad day. That doesn't mean that you're not going to sin. You're not going to do something bad. Like, being a believer doesn't absolve you of any, day-to-day struggle. That's not how this works.
Yeah.
But how you respond and how you react and how you try to handle things, and how you try to develop and grow and do for others, and that comes from a stronger power and being than yourself.
Yes. I love that so much.
So
I
I
love
just,
that.
and I know without a shadow of a doubt, had I not been adopted, my relationship with God would not be what it is,
You know
like,
what?
at
I would
all.
have to agree. No, I
Like,
agree
it just
100%
wouldn't,
with you.
like,
No, I
yeah.
agree. I
I might
agree.
be one of those, sorry for anyone that this offends, but is what it is. I would have been one of those Christmas Eve, Easter Sunday, you know, Christian, Catholic, whatever religion,
Oh, yeah.
where they
No,
only show up for
no.
Christmas Eve and they only show up for Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
And, I couldn't imagine. Now, granted, there were several years I didn't even go,
Right,
but
right,
I
right.
would, try to watch something on TV, or like to study or do something, do the best that I could. But
Yeah.
I just think there's something to be said for actually having a relationship, a daily relationship, and giving back to
Yeah.
others
No.
versus just being like,
A- And I don't care what religion you are, but like when you choose to go to whatever church you go to join whatever
mm-hmm,
congregation you go to, it's work. It is sacrifice
mm-hmm,
out of your week, whatever day of the week you decide to go to church or whenever you're like it's sacrifice for you to go take that 1 hour to go and be closer with the
mm-hmm,
Lord. It really is. And if you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of your time to try and go build your relationship with God, like that's huge. That's huge. And I would have to agree with Delancey. And I'm not saying that like I wouldn't have to necessarily believe in God if I was never adopted, but I definitely know my belief in God would be totally different.
very, very
Yeah,
different. It's like,
very different.
I think I can speak for both of us. Like, we would both know he exists
Yes.
in some way, shape, or form, but
Right.
going to church wouldn't have been a thing.
No, no, no,
Volunteering
no.
wouldn't be a thing.
Mm-mm.
Studying wouldn't have been a thing. Reading,
Correct.
devotionals,
Yeah.
any of that stuff wouldn't have, like, it just, it, I just, I, not, and not throwing shade on anybody
No,
before,
correct.
if
Yeah.
anyone, listens to this and they just want to be like,
Right.
ah, but I mean, it's just,
No.
I truly, truly, truly treasure my relationship with God. I truly, truly treasure my journey to get to where I am. And, even in the darkest of days, God was there. And I think even in my darkest days, I knew that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm just very thankful, because if I had never been adopted, I would have never had this amazing journey to get to this relationship with God. And I
Yeah.
am beyond thankful for that.
Yeah.
Like,
No. I
yeah.
love
So
that.
yeah, number one. Mm.
I love that. No, I think that's a great way like to end that too, what you just said. Like seriously to like I don't have anything else to say because I think you ended that so beautifully because it's so true. I agree. Amen. Amen to everything she just said because it's true. It's everything I believe too. So, hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
Amen. Just saying.
No, that was so good. Well, this was actually really fun. Like we did it. We pulled it out. We did it. I'm proud of us. Go us. Go team go.
I think, yeah, I'm gonna agree with that, because I didn't know what direction I was gonna go in, to be quite honest with you. I was kind of like,
It's
how's
good.
this gonna go?
I know. And it actually turned
Because,
out really good. Yeah.
mm-hmm,
It's
yeah.
it's crazy because I feel like some of like the ones were like they actually turn out to be some of our best. Because
Yeah, the ones where we're like, let's just see what happens.
yeah,
Let's
they
just
really do.
roll the dice, see what
They
happens. No
really
big
do.
deal.
Anything else you would like to add? I mean,
Um,
she ended that like a boss, but I don't know. She might have some more
I
words of
mean,
wisdom in there.
you know, um, no, I think that that is, yeah, that's good there.
Good. No, awesome. Well, I think I can speak for both of us and say, as you've listened to this, you can tell both of us are very grateful that we were adopted.
Hmm.
We're very grateful that God placed us where we needed to be placed, without a doubt. And I feel like I can say that in confidence for Delancey too, because it's just, I
Hmm.
mean, if you listen to us, it is what it is. So, anyway, okay, this one was good. Thanks for being here, guys. And we will catch you. Oh, hang on. Okay, next time.